of Spider-Mans. And speaking of Spider-Man, we have Peter Parker here with us.
We do.
Holding the line is the one and only Yuri Lowenthal, who joined us with his lovely wife, Tara Platt, who plays Yuri Watanabe in Spider-Man, the previous game.
Yes.
And they joined us on stream, and Yuri is kind enough to join us and answer your questions as we kick off the finale of Spider-Man Miles Morales. So this is a little bit of a heads up that we haven't finished the game yet. It's our first playthrough. So any of the questions you guys share, please avoid any end game spoilers. Not spoilers for end game, but end of this game spoilers. And we super appreciate you guys all being here. We got a couple of quick shout outs before we jump over to our awesome guest and then into the game. And the first one is that they love your hair.
Thank you.
So that's good.
I thought it felt kind of comic booky, so
it looks awesome. It looks really good. Here we go. Everybody say hello to Yuri Lowenthal. Hey, Yuri.
I didn't know there was an exclamation point in front of me.
Hello.
There is.
Hi, Amelia. How are you?
He said, how are you?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's great to see you, as usual.
Likewise.
Everybody is very excited to see you. And just to clarify, Yuri, the exclamation point is so if they want to find you on social media, we've got a command that flows through the chat. And you guys can find Yuri's website, Instagram, Twitter. He's up on Cameo if you guys are, speaking of holiday shout-out videos.
Right.
And I'm just going to start with it because I see you're signing some things and you got some cool things behind you. You're doing a Streamily signing next weekend, aren't you?
That's right. Yeah, for the game Fire Emblem.
Ooh.
Sweet.
Like a Fire Emblem event. So we're doing a Streamily signing. Those have been working out really well. There have been no convention appearances, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this has helped us do something like that in the meantime, and it's working out pretty well actually.
Yeah, very cool. Well,
You guys should do one.
Yeah, we should do one. We're doing some personalized video messages for the holidays. We get intimidated by international shipping and so on, so we've decided to keep it digital for this round.
Streamily takes care of all that stuff for you. That's one of the reasons I love it.
Yeah, we got a little,
Sweet.
when we shipped all those t-shirts, we got a little, we have some PTSD from
that. Yeah, no, I've tried to do my own too, and I'd much rather entrust that to somebody else.
Right on. Well, it's so good to have. Yeah, of course. It's so good to have you join us, Yuri. And we're this is a reminder to everyone on the stream that we are maybe 75% into the game. So any questions pertaining to the finale of Miles Morales, we won't get to. But
no spoilers.
No spoilers. But we see Peter Parker at the start of this game launching us on our mission. And I'm curious, when did you find out about that they were going to be doing more of the Marvel's Spider-Man? Did you know of this? Or do you know you're in this game?
It isn't called the Spider-Man Peter Parker. But I think, it's hard to remember exactly when it was, but I want to say right after we finished the DLC. Or very soon after, they were like, we're spinning this up right away.
Nice.
And they said, obviously you're going to be in it a little bit. It's not, that Spider-Man centric, and which was totally fine by me. I wanted to see Miles go off on his own as well, but I was curious to see how they were going to integrate it. And it's been fun. And there's a tutorial in particular. I don't know if you guys have. I don't know when it happens in the. I imagine because it's probably early on, that is Vulture related. That.
Yes, I think I saw you retweet a clip of this of your Vulture of Peter's Vulture voice.
Vulture impression, yeah, which is just my impression of Dwight Schultz playing the Vulture, which was fun. I would sort of equate it to that was like sort of the Spider Cop of this game for me.
Nice.
But it was fun, and it was fun working with Naji, who plays Miles, and just being back on the team for a little bit. But I'm also excited to play the game, which I haven't played yet, because even though I worked on the game, I really don't know much about the main story. I know a little bit, but my part was sort of the beginning, a little bit in the end, and so I'm excited, and I'm excited to watch somebody or to watch you guys play through it. So.
Nice, very cool. Yeah, and also Naji does a great job as Miles Morales. I saw a fascinating interview he did with Troy Baker on his Relator Q&A, and I didn't know this. Fun fact for anyone on the stream who might not know, he also played Sam, the young boy in the first Last of Us game.
That's right.
That blew my mind. Yeah, the first
Last of Us.
First Last of Us.
Right.
The second to Last of Us. First, never mind.
Right.
The second to Last of Us, yeah.
Right? It was, I guess, the second to Last of Us, but it's not. Anyway. See, this is what streaming's all about, Yuri. You just get caught in sort of tangential rabbit holes, and that was the joy of having you two both on our stream last time. I was like, we covered so many subjects.
Tara sends big hugs, by the way.
Aw, thank
We miss
you.
you guys. But,
Oh, and back to her.
glad to see your faces today.
Likewise. Well, I got a bunch of questions from everybody on stream, so I'm not going to chit chat too long
dive.
because we got a finale to do.
Right.
So, Yuri, to your mind, this is this is your professional opinion. What are the fundamental similarities and differences between Peter Parker and Miles Morales?
Oh man, the Peter Parker that we get, starting in that first Spider-Man game, he's much more self-assured. He's obviously still working on stuff, as we all are throughout our lives, but he's a bit more self-assured. And with Miles, you definitely get this. I'm new at this. I'm not so confident. I'm going to figure this out with you, which I think is really cool to connect on from a player level, because you're sort of starting at the same place that literally the character is.
Right.
In a way. I mean, he got a little bit of a ramp up, in the DLC, in between the two games, but we really get to see him find his power as it is, in this one. And so I would say that's the big difference. It's sort of a mentor-mentee relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
But as far as similarities goes, I would say they both love helping people. Like that is first in their minds. And one has just had a little more practice at it.
Right. And they're constantly stuck in this thing of like trying to help so many people at once. It's like the major conflict is like, I'm trying to run this mission right now, but there's some crime right here and mom is calling.
Right.
Yeah.
They've got to deal with life. Like I think that's one of the things that why people connect to these characters, not only in the game, but in the movies and the comics, is because they're dealing with the same kind of things that we're dealing with. It's not like Tony Stark is trying, is working on his, his empire, and Thor, has a whole God thing to deal with. And, Peter's like trying to pay his rent,
Right.
He's trying to not to get his girlfriend to leave, and, all the things that, the types of things that we struggle with. So I think that's one of the reasons, and they both have that, I think, Miles and Peter, and it's one of the reasons I think we love those characters.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's also an earnestness to the two of them that I just love so much. They're so just like they wear their hearts on their sleeve, and they don't take themselves too seriously. So that's the thing I really love about Spider-Man and the Spider-Man games, is just how earnest they are.
Yeah. When you mentioned the mentor-mentee thing, I'm curious if you could, headcanon it up. If Peter had a mentor, like in the same kind of way, if there was a proto Spider-Man for Peter, who could that be, and how do you think that would go?
I mean, obviously it's Tony Stark in the films, the way they've sort of done these films. Tony becomes the mentor, but in the game, I mean, obviously, Octavius really steps in as both the mentor and the, in many ways the father figure in that first game, and then that's why the betrayal is so. When it comes, and we all know it's coming. I mean, there's no spoilers there. We see it from, if you know anything about Spider-Man, we see it right away. But you see, that's horror is not about really surprises. I think it's knowing what's coming and not being able to avoid it. So, I said that's why that betrayal was so terrible. But I think, in that first game, I mean, Otto is definitely his mentor.
Yeah. Sure. Oh.
So this is a question from one of our friends named Clomo, who asks, hello Clomo, about the idea of having hologram Peter. Where did that come up with, in him helping, Miles?
Obviously I'm not in charge of the writing. I would like to believe it was so that they were like, Yuri, we want you to feel like you have something to do in this game. Here's a little gimme for you. I think it's a maybe, and I haven't discussed this with the guys over at Insomniac, but it's probably so that the game can be Miles's game. Like we take Peter out as soon as we can. which I think is important, needed, and I'm fully in favor of for this game. But they still want him in there a little bit, and they don't want to leave Miles completely floundering. And tutorials are tutorials. You do what
We
you
need
can.
them desperately.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, no, trust me. As someone who hasn't still finished the original Spider-Man game, playing it, we need tutorials. But trying to find new ways of making them different than just either text on screen or, "Hey, dummy, this is how you do it."
Right.
I think it was a way to try to make it interesting in that way, and to keep the mentor in there, but he's not really there. He can't save Miles. He can't really help Miles in that respect. But to have him there just sort of as a, kind of like, a Force ghost or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You can remember his wisdom, but Peter can't do any web slinging for him in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome. I see so many good questions are coming.
So I have a question from Blue Owls, who says, Peter is a mentor to Miles and teaches him a lot, but is there anything that you feel Miles teaches Peter?
Yeah, I think when you think that you learn lessons, or you learn lessons in life, it doesn't mean that you don't have to ever relearn them. I am constantly relearning things that I know, but you forget, or you get caught up in your things. And I think that the types of stuff that Miles runs into while Peter is away, and then has to sort of talk about with Peter. I think Peter, a lot of these things are like Peter's had to deal with, like asking for help, getting help from your friends and the rest of your team, not trying to go it alone. Those sort of things, I think Peter should know and does know, but forgets sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that Miles, really helps with. He's Peter, 8 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think he helps remind him of those things that he has to keep reminding himself of. And that, that does come up with in the end, and well, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Right, you guys have gotten to the
End of interview.
I'm excited.
Cut him off.
But yeah, so I think it brings a little. I'm trying to think if there's anything specific like in that. Or I mean, obviously, in the beginning, Miles saves Pete's bacon.
Yeah.
It could be the end for our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and Miles steps in. Yeah, I think the idea of responsibility. I love that the speech, or the scene that they have on the rooftop when he sort of gives him his Christmas presents, like, "You're New York's only Spider-Man," and walks off. I think that idea of responsibility, obviously, because it's a huge theme in the character and the world. It's a reminder for Pete as well as it is a lesson, for Miles. And they'll probably keep having to keep relearning that lesson again, as we all do.
Of course, even superheroes have to relearn those lessons.
Exactly.
I feel that way too sometimes. I'm like, come on, man, you know this. And then that's just life, right?
Right, totally.
I know you answered this for the previous game, but I'm curious, and I know you got a lot of lines from a lot of games bouncing around in your head, but Cosmic Georgie would like to know if you have a favorite line from this Miles Morales game in particular.
There is a line that came from an ad lib, and I wasn't sure if it was going to make it in, and I was watching cinematics, as I do because I suck at games, and I'm impatient, so I go on YouTube and I find the first person who's posted the cinematics, and in that first Rhino scene, it's a background line. I don't even think Spider-Man's on screen, but you can hear him fighting with Rhino while Miles is doing his thing, and it's got a whole Christmas motif, and they're crashing through the mall, and Spidey says to Rhino something like, "Okay, favorite Christmas song, nothing post 1965." And that nothing post 1965 was an ad lib that I did because all the Christmas music I love to listen to is all like pre 1965. It's all like Bing Crosby and like all the old standards and the the 40s recordings of all those classic Christmas songs. So I threw that in there, and you never know what they're going to be able to keep or not keep, or what you think is funny as an actor doesn't necessarily mean that anybody else thinks it's funny.
That's a very important point to make.
But
a lot of things I thought were hilarious. Everybody else, no, we don't need them.
Exactly.
A lot of people are like, I love that line. That was a great line. Yes, that part.
Right. And I didn't know it had made it in until I was watching the cinematics and I heard it. And I'm like, yes, little stuff like that. So that's my favorite. Although I love that scene between, Miles and Peter on the rooftop.
Yeah.
As Peter, leaves for the beginning of the, for the rest of the game. It's just sort of passing the mantle, and that the oath that he gives him, he's like, that's it. And I totally didn't make that up on the fly right now, because of course he did. There's no oath, but there is.
So
now.
what was that like filming between the two of you? I mean, were you and Najee on set together for a good amount of it?
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about these last two games is we've gotten to all the cinematic stuff we've gotten to shoot on the stage together, and I'm glad we got it all done before we really couldn't do that anymore.
Right.
For this type of work. So for the time being, anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really, I mean, as actors, we always prefer to have other actors there with us, and it's a luxury in video games, for so much of our recording is done in a booth solo, sort of imagining what the other person is saying, or getting from the director the context. But to have another actor to react off of is always, I think, you're going to get the best performance. So it's nice to be able to do that, and it was nice to be able to do that with him and everybody else on this.
Yeah, well, it's a luxury to have you join us as well on our stream, Yuri.
Yeah.
It definitely ups our game a little bit. And
thanks.
just a reminder to anybody who's tuning in, if you want to check out Yuri on social media, you'll see the links are flowing through there. His Twitter, Instagram, and also Cameo, if you want to keep an eye out for holiday shout-outs. I think there's a lot of people who are going to be getting Spider-Man Miles Morales for Christmas. It just feels like, the whole game is just... Amelia kept talking about how nice it was to see New York City covered in this beautiful snow that's like so fleeting in the city itself. It's like gone in an hour, and here it is frozen beautiful in time.
I know, I love it. And I remember when we were recording the game, I'm like, you guys aren't going to be able to get this out in time for Christmas, right? Because I'm like, it would be perfect to get it out in time for Christmas, but you guys won't have it done by then. They're like, you could tell, their veins were popping out of their foreheads. They're like, we're trying. Man, don't tell anybody, but that's the plan. Yeah.
I'm glad they did.
Yo, here's a question from Amidala716, who says, since Miles is multilingual, do you think that Peter would have picked up on any of those similar skills from Miles, like maybe ASL, or do you think Peter speaks any other languages?
I would love to. I mean, we've never really sort of explored that with Peter. I mean, he's a smart guy. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be able to do that. And maybe he just, the opportunity has not been there for him. I would love to, being somebody who speaks a couple different languages, I would love to bring that into the character somehow.
What languages do you speak?
Jinx.
I said, Jinx, you guys have to get married again.
Oh no!
I speak French and Japanese, and my German is not as good as it used to be. But because all my relatives are from like Austria and Germany, I grew up, around that, and for a while it was pretty good. My Spanish is just enough to either get me a beer or get me into a fight.
Or both.
Yeah.
Right. Get a beer first.
Or get you out of out of the fight by buying somebody a beer, maybe.
Right, exactly. But my strong ones are French and Japanese. And I don't know if those really factor into a Spider-Man story, but
Maybe
I would
Japanese?
love an excuse to learn ASL. You don't need
Yeah.
But I'd love for somebody for my job to require me to do that.
So have you ever done some voice acting in Japanese or French? I mean, forgive me for not knowing, but
No. Why would you? No.
I study you nightly.
Well, exactly. I knew
That's a weird thing to say. Nightly? Why did I pick nightly?
Just
Sorry.
No, I have, and which has been super fun. I've done less Japanese. Like once upon a time, I might have auditioned for Ghosts of Tsushima, but I think because of inclusivity and representation in games now, which I think is really important, and I'm definitely in favor of, I've been playing fewer Japanese characters, strangely enough.
Right.
But back in the day, I played a Japanese character in Saints Row 2, and one of those Yakuza games, or Red Steel, I think. And I have played. There's a movie, and I'm wondering if I'm allowed to. Yeah, why not? There's a movie called Everly, which Joe Lynch directed, and the Japanese actor that they had playing the big bad in that is this phenomenal actor, and he's scary as hell. But when he would speak in English, because he wasn't as confident with English, it didn't sort of connect. And so Joe, who's a friend of mine, called me up to see if I might be, interested, and I ended up dubbing the guy's performance. So and we matched together very well because he's super intimidating and super cool, in his look, and then I just added the accent of English. But if you ever catch it, Everly, it's a super fun movie with Salma Hayek. It's an action, like super balls out action movie. But
cool.
But see if you can spot the dubbing in that. I think we did a really good job. But
yeah, I'm curious if you've ever met any of the other actors who have localized your performance for another language.
I met once when we were doing the junket for the first Spider-Man game. I met the guy who was, I think, the Spanish Spider-Man, basically, at the junket. But generally, I don't meet those guys, which is unfortunate.
I had the privilege once to meet Donald Renew, who plays Connor in French, and it's fun fact to share that he also plays Spider-Man.
Really?
In French. I mean, he does the localization of Spider-Man.
That's why we don't get cast together enough, Brian. Because
we're
too similar.
We can't get too close, otherwise Donald appears right between us. So we got to get a stream with Donald on here sometime. That would be cool.
Oh, you absolutely should, right? Yeah. We're
and
very
you and Amelia and he can all speak French, and I'll sit there and eat cheese.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love that.
I have a question for you from Renjiki the Unleashed. I know.
So get ready.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you ever have any doubts about voice acting? And they want to be a voice actor in the future and are wondering if you have any advice.
I still have doubts. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I still live with that healthy serving of imposter syndrome. Every job, I think I'm either going to get fired or they're finally going to figure out that I'm terrible at this. And so yeah, I still have doubts, and I was hugely nervous taking on the Spider-Man thing because it's Spider-Man, and I could only mess it up, was what I felt in my head, especially being like a old school comic book geek. I'm like, there's no way I can do this justice. So yes, I still feel a lot of that. I still fail in confidence school sometimes. But as far as advice goes, I would say if you're just starting out, and you guys feel free to chime in on this too, I would say remember that voice acting is acting, and I found that the people who really have longevity in this business I've seen are really good actors first. It doesn't matter what your voice sounds like. Don't worry about any of that. So see if you love acting. Like take drama classes depending on where you are in school, or theater. Do local theater, or take improv classes. Anything you can do to practice acting and see if it's something that brings you joy. Great. Do that first, and then worry about all the other stuff later. And in the meantime, it sounds simple, but reading aloud every day is something that's sort of overlooked as an important part of what we do. We're often handed scripts, right on the job without having seen them, but we are expected to treat them as if we've been rehearsing them and practicing them.
Right.
So getting used to seeing text and really getting it off the page and making quick decisions about that is something that comes with just like reading aloud. Just pick up anything. Pick up Lord of the Rings, or whatever you've got on your shelf, or a flyer
which is Lord of the Rings, actually. It's convenient.
Yeah.
I think that's great advice.
A couple things. Yeah.
Yeah, we try to do that too. Sometimes we've done these Curiosity Chill streams where we study a subject, and we do them at 10 a.m. So for us, that's really early.
Yeah.
And but we've learned that even just like waking up your mouth before you go to do these auditions or to submit a tape or something, to really there are of course there's a book called Speak with Distinction that I'll throw out that's really great. It has tons and tons and tons of all the different sounds that you're making, and phonetically, and sort of phrases, tip it up right, all these sort of tongue twistery kind of
Right.
warm-up
It's
things,
proper
which go
cup
a
of
long
coffee
way.
in a proper cup or coffee cup. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Do you have a favorite tongue twister?
That's a good one. Oh, what to do to die today at a minute or two till two. A thing distinctly hard to say, but harder still to do.
For there'll be to tattoo at 20 to 2,
20
a
to 2 and a
rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat 2 today, at a minute or two till 2.
There it is.
I got so
also-
excited. I was like, I don't know.
Also, for good voice acting information, D. Bradley Baker, a phenomenally talented voice actor, has a website called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. It's like all one word, iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. And it's a wealth of information. And Tara and I wrote a book called Voiceover Voice Actor, the extended edition that you can either check out at your library or Amazon. Looks like this.
Cool. And it's on your website, right?
Nice.
Yes, that's the book.
Nice.
And there's lots of there's much more in here than I could tell you right now.
Would you mind reading the entire book for us right now?
Yes,
Thank you.
Yeah. Settle in, everybody. Here we go.
Chapter 1. Tip it up right. All right. This is a question from Guinea Bees, Yuri. And I'm curious if there are any other Spider-Man performances that inspired your iteration of Peter in particular.
Probably all of them subconsciously. Like I said, I'm a nerd from way back, so I've seen a lot of Spider-Man performances. And I wouldn't say that I fixated on one because I knew that Insomniac wanted their own sort of thing, and I was just going to sort of bring whatever I brought to it, and I'm sure, all the Spider-Men who came before me have leaked in there in some way or another. But there wasn't one specific one that I modeled it after.
That's super cool, Yuri. And also now you've joined this pantheon of Spider-Men, that
Anyone can wear the mask.
50 years from now, someone will be like, it's just like a little bit of this Yuri idea and then had a little bit of this. And that's super cool.
Lucky. Yeah.
Do you know memes?
I don't know a lot of memes because I'm
Okay.
old, but I know some memes.
All right. Well, then I have a question for you from Henrius. What is your favorite Spider-Man meme?
You can't beat the two Spider-Men pointing at each other.
Love it.
Because you can use that for so many different things, and because so many people have played Spider-Man, we have reenacted that. As a matter of fact, once we reenacted it in a studio with I think it was 3 Spider-Men. It was me and Josh Keaton and who was the 3rd Spider-Man? See, there have been so many that Robbie Damon.
Right on.
Plays on the Disney XD channel Spider-Man that's going on right now, Marvel Spider-Man. I think we all did it sort of like a, we were all standing in the studio of us pointing at each other.
So how many Spider-Men get in one place at a time before it opens into the multiverse and then we have the whole situation?
I would love to find out.
Let's do it.
Oh, man.
Yo. Go ahead.
No,
Co-hosting.
what do you have coming up on the docket? I know you have a game coming out this week.
Yes.
I have a game coming out this week that I would love to push because it comes out on the same day as Cyberpunk 2077, and we all know what you're
Never heard of it.
We all know what your choice will be. But when you're done with that, or if you need something sort of quietly beautiful and fun to relax into, or if you're going to step away from Cyberpunk for a few minutes, there's a beautiful game that is also very filmic called Call of the Sea that has sort of Lovecraftian backgrounds. It reminds me a lot of Myst, like of, just adventure games, story games, riddle and puzzle games, but with a beautiful environment and music, and the characters and story are all really great. And I'm really proud. I worked on it with Sissy, who you might know from Firewatch, Sissy Jones. It's been great, and I'm really, and it's by a small game company, and I love to really push those because they won't get quite the same. So put it in your queue. It's on Steam. I think it's out on December 10th.
Yep.
Nice.
Bug Snacks just came out. I had a great time working on Bug Snacks.
Oh my God! Wait!
You're a Bug Snack?
You worked on Bug Snacks?
I worked on Bug Snacks.
Oh, I am so stoked about that game.
It's great, and I mean, my character name from that probably beats any other character I've ever played. My character's name is Chandlo Funkbun,
Wow.
and I modeled him a little bit off of Keanu Reeves. Speaking of Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh,
Oh my god.
I've found him.
He's so cute.
He's adorable.
Here we go. I'm gonna share this on screen for everybody. You won't be able to see it, but they will.
Sure, no, please do.
That is glorious.
And then once we've gotten past Bugsnax, there's a game coming out in January, which is a remake of a game I did 15 years ago called Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. And I'm really excited for people to get to play that again. For people who loved it back then to play this new version, and for people who had never played it to also play this new version. It was like getting a chance to, for those of you who are basically familiar with the game, he has the power to sort of rewind time at certain parts. And for me, it was like, as an actor and a human being, it was like rewinding time to go back to that game that I did 15 years ago.
Wow, that's trippy.
Right? And to redo it, but also to do it with, back then it was all animated. There was no performance capture or any of that. To get to go back, but do it with actual performance capture with the other actors in the room, and to go through the the motions physically was this huge gift that I still can't believe that I got to do it.
Everyone is freaking
really
out.
cool.
They're so excited. Oh my gosh.
Because that was like the
so
beginning of
cool.
my career. That was like the first lead I had in like a big game, and nobody knew it was going to be big at the time, obviously. And I've loved that guy for ever since. And to get to come back and get to do it again.
Wow.
How nice of them to not replace you with somebody cheaper.
I know. I was super honored that they, or even 15 years later, for them to trust that I could, as 15 years older, to turn in a similar performance.
Yeah.
I'll never be able to thank them enough for even allowing me to come back.
Oh my gosh, we have your.
Everybody's
your
freaking out for your Bugsnax. He's floating right above us right now.
Awesome.
You guys can't find him. Make sure you tag Yuri on social media when you find his Bugsnack.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much.
Well,
that's amazing. 3 games coming out. I'm so stoked for you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a good end to the year, or beginning of next year, depending on how you.
That's right. We believe very strongly that 2021 will be better than 2020. We're very confident when we say that.
Has to be, right?
Yeah. So we're sending you guys all a whole lot of love. And here's a message from Steve Kim Hunterwolf Gaming, Yuri, who says, I think you did a great job with the acting of Spider-Man, and was wondering if you have ever thought about looking into doing acting as the next Spider-Man for the movies.
You guys, I'm sure, get similar questions. I wish it were up to us. I would put myself in that role immediately.
Yeah, right.
But you have to. There are many concerns that people who make movies have, and so yes, I would love to, but it's not up to me.
I saw that you have a Spider-Man mask, like a health mask. Do you also have a full Spider-Man suit somewhere?
I don't have a full Spider-Man suit, but my son does now. My 4-year-old
son
has the advanced suit. Yeah. And it's adorable. He looks much better in it than I'm sure I would, but we'll see what 2021 brings. If I can lose my quarantine shape and get back into real shape, then I will see about the challenge, the Spider-Man suit challenge.
Well, a similar question, as Spider-Man's New York City asks, if you could play any other character in the Spider-Man world, who would you like to play?
Oh man, that is a tough one, because you definitely want to go villains.
Yeah, that's the first thing I was thinking. I was like, villain.
Right. Every actor wants to play a villain. That's a good one. I have played the Lizard on the same show that Robbie Damon plays Spider-Man on, Kirk Connors. But I would love. I don't know. There's a villain that I don't think they'll ever get the guts to put in a Spider-Man game, called the Spot, and he's sort of this. He's got like portal powers.
Maybe in the movie.
Maybe in the movie, I could.
That's right.
That would be cool. I mean, I love I mean, everybody loves J. Jonah Jameson, who's sort of a villain in his own right. And Darren has done such a great job, and I know Darren loves to chew scenery as much as any of us, and he's really done a great job. I mean, JJJ would be great. God, there's so many characters floating around in there. Spider Gwen, I'd love to play Spider Gwen, but I don't think it's in my cards. With the Spider-Verse, there are a lot more options. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So villain.
But probably a villain. I'd take basically any villain, at this point.
Well, feel free to say pass if you know too much about this and you don't want to give anything away. But what are the odds, statistically speaking, of a Spider-Pig game? Do you think we'll get a Spider-Pig game?
He's a popular character. I don't see why we wouldn't. Don't let that be confirmation because I have no idea. I would like to see a Spider-Pig game.
I would like to see a Spider-Pig game too. Yeah. We'll try our best, you guys. We'll go around telling people.
Yeah. Confirmed. Here, there's totally a Pig game in the works. It's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, you can download it right now.
It's coming out on the same day as Spider-Punk.
Cyberpunk?
Cyberpunk 2077, so you won't even notice that it's coming out.
Nice. Well, if you guys have any artwork that you'd like to make of a Cyberpunk Spider-Man, I'm sure Yuri would be happy to be tagged as Spider-Punk. We've got the punk suit in Spider-Man.
One of my favorites, actually, yeah.
There's some ground to begin with there. Dial up the cyber and you're good to go. Oh man, Yuri, I would love to hang out and talk to you literally the rest of the quarantine.
Me too. I love seeing your faces. Oh my god.
Yeah. Likewise.
Thanks again for joining us, man. We're gonna jump into the finale and make sure Miles makes it through okay.
Do it. You're in good hands, guys. I know Brian and Amelia are gonna take you the rest of the way in style.
Aw, thanks again, man. And a reminder, check out Yuri on social media. And he's doing, for a limited time, some cameo videos and a signing next weekend.
If you got a special Spider fan in your life that needs that holiday gift, make sure to check it out. Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much, Yuri.
So good to see you.
I leave you to New York. Go save New York.
We leave you with a big hug. And if you can share it with Tara.
Yeah.
You guys give
right on.
Cyber
Likewise, man.
Happy holidays.
Cyber Hug 2077. Happy holidays. Bye,
cool, man. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye, friend.
Well, he's awesome.
I know. I really just, such good vibes.
Such good vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Our stream with Yuri and Tara was one of our favorite streams we've ever done. They joined us for the previous game, and that's up on YouTube if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
And let's go into the Spider-Verse. We go.
I feel so sparkly. I feel so good.
You're sparkly and good.
He has such great vibes.
I know.
Such good energy.
I want him to be our Spider mentor. Don't you guys get that feeling like that?
I feel like
he is. He is our Spider mentor.
He's our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Thanks again, mods, for helping us pull all those questions, and thank you guys all for tagging us with them. Mm-hmm. We got to as many as we could, but if you have more questions for him, I'm sure you could tweet at him or comment on a picture, and Yuri is very active, very friendly and responsive. Mm-hmm. So if we didn't get to your question, feel free to shout him out on social media. And TC Gamer... TC04, thank you for the gift sub group hug.
Thank you so much. That's incredibly generous.
Big hug for you guys. And if you got one of those gift subs, check out the starter kit. This will show you the way around. I'm not prepared to...
Let's rainbow.
We'll rainbow. It's very bright behind us. I don't know if you'll be able to see the rainbow. You can't. You guys are going to have to take our word for it.
Know that there's rainbow
There's rainbow happening for
for
you.
TC.
Yo, hello, you're here. What's up, X? How you doing? And Gautian Games, thank you for using your Prime. If you guys have Amazon Prime, you can link it to Twitch Prime Gaming for a free sub on any channel.
You can feel the rainbow? Okay, good.
You can feel it. It's a nice sunny day outside, so we got the windows open a little bit.
Yeah.
Very good. Yo, we are grateful for you guys joining. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break so that I can turn on the PS5 and we can play a little bit of this Spider-Man Miles Morales finale. We're going to play maybe a little long today as we're completing the main story quests on today's stream. Thank you guys for being here. If you'd like to retweet to invite your friends, now's a good chance to do so. And if you want to check out exclamation point videos, which is just here, Amelia and I are doing personalized videos for the holiday season, and they'll be available for the next week or so if you'd like to order one for yourself or for a friend.
Yes.
And what's up, Prada you? You're here for the first time.
Welcome.
Welcome. Come on in. Is anybody else here for the first time? Thank you for being here, and thank you guys for retweeting to get the words out. Yumi Silver, welcome, and thank you for the gifts up to Arrow. What were we going to say?
Theodore is not here today, but
No, he's
he
at our
wanted to
apartment.
come. He did.
He did want to come. We bring Theo often on the Wednesday streams and on Friday when there's a little bit less going on. But he sends love.
He does.
Yo.
Coco Kenter's here for the first time.
Hey.
Pineapple May is here for the first time.
Hello and welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. And thank you guys all for welcoming in these new friends. Oh, and thank you, Blue, for this awesome GIF. You are
that's
so
great.
on it.
Kai D's here for the first time.
Yo.
Ronan's here for the first time. Quinoa's here for the first time. Andy M. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you for typing into the chat. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for joining. And
Lord is here for the first time.
if you guys are down, I'm gonna post up this awesome GIF that Blue made of our hug with Yuri. If you guys would retweet to thank him, and if you want to drop him a follow on Twitter, let's show him some love. What's up, Kenobi? Thanks for being here.
All
right,
you
guys.
like my sweater? Thank you.
Yeah, this is
Special.
This is my I Like Dogs one. Both of them are available exclamation point merch in the chat, or there's actually a panel down below the video. Will get you to the app. I'm gonna tweet a thank you to Yuri and get the PlayStation up and running. We'll see you guys in 5 short minutes, and we're gonna play the finale of Miles Morales.
Yeah.
See you very, very, very soon.